What it do, peeps? It's the B Chef. Will watch the damn tape. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. To my new subscribers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the show and I hope you get something from the content. To my day ones, thank you for helping me build this platform and keep this WNBA conversation pushing. When I was a kid in elementary school, they used to have a thing called field day. Used to have all kind of events, 4x100, 100-yard dash, had a thing called the sack race, tug of war, sack race. You jump on the sack. It was like a potato sack. And you hopped to a finish line. They gave out ribbons. First place was a blue ribbon. Second place was like a red ribbon. Third place was a white ribbon. Later on in elementary school, they came out with a thing called a participation ribbon. It was yellow. Nobody wanted that. But there was a lot of kids that were happy because the years in elementary where the other kids would dominate and get the red, white, blue ribbons, they went home with nothing. So this was to satisfy and pacify kids that were underachievers. Last night, the Indiana Fever played like a bunch of participation trophy winning kids. And they got a participation trophy for their loss. They lost 84-72. Game was abysmal. Started out bad. Poor shooting by both teams. Asia Wilson was stinking it up. Kelsey Mitchell was stinking it up. Lexi Hull was keeping them in the game with scrappiness, defense, and hitting timely shots. At half, the Fever was shooting 34% from the field, shooting 30% from three, and shooting 50% from the free throw line. Couldn't hit free throws to save their life. Everybody in the team, the starters, all shot a free throw outside of Odyssey Sims and made one and missed one for the first half. So I knew it was a problem then. At halftime, it was 35-34. It's a close game, sloppy game, but Indiana's still in it. Third quarter comes. They make a little run. They take the lead. They're playing okay, and they take the lead. Fueled by Lexi Hull. One thing about Lexi Hull, she's a fighter. This Aces team hates that, and they understand. Kelsey Mitchell's a problem. Offensively, unguardable. You got to do some different stuff to Kelsey Mitchell to stop her. But Lexi Hull is the one that is. Have you ever let a fly get in your house and the fly just keep flying around bugging you? That's Lexi Hull to a Aces team. She always flying around, bugging the hell out of everybody. Lexi Hull's 6 foot tall. She taller than all the guards on the Aces. Dana Evans is 5'6". Jewel Lloyd's like 5'9", 5'10". Young's 5'11". Chelsea Mitchell's like 5'8". Chelsea Gray, is 5'8". So she's got height and length on all of them, and she can shoot. So that means you got to play defense too when you play Lexi Hull, or she'll light you up. So they made a conservative effort the last few games to put her on her back. Not one quarter in this game did Lexi Hull pick herself off the ground. It's just like a fighter. If I hit you enough, eventually you will stay down. And that's their game plan. That's on the coach to understand and make adjustments. That being said, third quarter, Lexi Hull gets them back into the game. In the second quarter, at the end, they make a nice. She hits a three. Kelsey Mitchell hits a three. And like I said, they go into halftime 35-34. Third quarter, they go to Boston. Boston immediately scores. They take the lead. And it goes back and forth for a while. And then Kelsey Mitchell, she goes into her modes. Well, I'm going to start taking these shots. Takes a three, airballs it horribly. Horribly. Don't get back on defense. A lot of defensive lapses this game. Jackie Young is cooking. Jackie Young is starting to cook. And it's a slow boil. Nalyssa Smith has been cooking. Natasha Howard exits the game. She only played 9 minutes in the first quarter. Played about 6 minutes in the third. She was a no-show in the fourth. They got Michaela Timpson out there. She's getting a lot of minutes, but she hasn't played. She's not in the flow of the offense. Bree Turner, we already know she's a non-factor offensively. Indiana starts to slide, and around 4 minutes into the third quarter, Lexi Huff commits a foul that wasn't really a foul. At this point, the coach is frantic. She's jumping up and down, loses her composure. But instead of calling a timeout or a challenge, she lets the play go on. The Aces score. They take the lead. She calls a timeout. Lexi Hull goes out the game. This is exactly what the Aces wanted. Get Lexi the F out the game. Shea Petty comes in. Shea Petty's not the greatest defender. Dana Evans goes baseline like Vince Carter. Scores. They extend the lead in the third. They go into the fourth quarter. A few errors, a few mistakes. Lexi's on the bench. Shea Petty's in the game. Odyssey Sims is not in the game either. Odyssey Sims she's already been given her participation trophy. She's holding that gold trophy and that yellow ribbon, and she's rubbing it. She's skinning and grinning on the sideline while her team is getting dismantled and have no offensive rhythm. Kelsey Mitchell has now flipped the switch. She's into one downhill mode. I'm going to the basket. I'm going to shoot these threes. She chunks up another air ball, followed by a corner three that hit the top of the backboard and it bounced out of the viewing area of the cameraman. That's how bad of a three she shot. Vegas is constantly going through slicing and dicing this defense. They extend the lead. There's nothing Indiana can do. Lexi Hull comes back in, hits another three. It's still too late. They lose 84-72. Now, if you go look at the numbers, Kelsey Mitchell hit 4 shots in the first half, hit 4 shots in the second half. Ended up with 21 points. Shot 8 of 26. Keep in mind, folks, she was 4 of 14 at half. Natasha Howard played 15 minutes. Played 9 in the first half. Ended up with 5 points. Aaliyah Boston, 5 of 16. Aaliyah Boston missed a lot of point-blank shots. And when they finally gave her the ball, she was shooting too hard. Overly aggressive, don't play with no control because it's like this. You can make a video about training with your Keith Porter and it looked good in a video. But when it's game time, you revert back to who you are. And Aaliyah Boston is a margarine maven in that paint. Red Hulk, she need to get some serum and become the Red Hulk. And it won't probably happen for about another 2 years before she figures it out. That's Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell have faded. When you look at their numbers from the first series in Atlanta going into this series, Kelsey Mitchell shot 52% game one in the game in which they gave Asia Wilson the MVP. Shot 52%, shot 60% from three. Game two, 30% from the field, 28% from three. Game three, 30% from the field, like 28 from three. Aaliyah Boston's numbers are the exact same. Since the Atlanta series, they've dropped, and dropped. They don't have a point guard for one. I saw a lot of people online after game one talking about Kelsey Mitchell and how this is Kelsey Mitchell's team, how Kelsey Mitchell is better than Caitlin Clark. I believe Kelsey Mitchell's number is 0. Caitlin Clark's number is 22. If I give you $22 and the other person has zero, the person that has 22 has more money than the person that has zero. Kelsey Mitchell's a nice player. Great at times. Kelsey Mitchell that you saw last night is the Kelsey Mitchell that was here before Caitlin Clark. Ask about their playoff record and the playoff wins they had before Kelsey Mitchell. And ask about what she got and accomplished after Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is one of 3 players that elevates the players around her. Nalyssa Collier and A'ja Wilson are the other 2. If you look at the game, the stud buds play better with Nalyssa. They feed off Nalyssa. In this series, A'ja Wilson has empowered Jackie Young and Nalyssa Smith. Nalyssa Smith is playing like what the Indiana Fever expected her to play when they made her a first-round pick. She put Natasha Howard on the bench and basically has ended Natasha Howard's career in the playoffs. This is how Natasha Howard's going to go out. If you sign Natasha Howard next year, you're going to get a shell of a player, and you're going to say she was the 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. 2019 was a long time ago. Don't matter in 2025, 2026. We got to go by today. Today, not last week. Aaliyah Boston, my message to you is this. Your podcast is called Post Moves. I see more posts on the cereal aisle than I see in your game. My advice, call this brother down in H-Town named Akeem Olajuwon. You could call him Hakeem or Akeem, but he is the dream. Your post game is a dream. It is a nightmare to watch you operate in the paint. I suggest you call the dream Olajuwon. Pay him whatever he wants and learn you some post moves. Learn some footwork. Work on your footwork with a professional. A proven professional, certified. Don't watch his ass on YouTube. Go to Houston and get in that gym. Because you don't have no post moves. The last post move you got was when you grabbed post toasties off aisle 11 at Super Walmart. Get some moves. And since you're a vet and y'all take care of rooks, take young Michaela down there and help her out with her offensive game. Because you're going to need her next year when she replaces Natasha Howard. Do that, Aaliyah, since your show is called Post Moves. To the folks that thought Kelsey Mitchell was better than Caitlin Clark, may I remind you, the greatest stretch in Kelsey Mitchell's career was late June, early July, when Kelsey Mitchell was averaging about 24 points and about 6 assists. And she was playing Caitlin Clark-esque. You know why? It's because Caitlin Clark had just left the starting lineup with this groin injury. And that magic was still in Kelsey Mitchell's spirit. But as the weeks went on, she got further away from that player. Kelsey Mitchell is at her most dangerous when she's unselfish and you don't know if she's going to take you or break you. But if all she's going to do is take the shot, chances are she gonna miss it. If she drives to the hole, all I gotta do is get physical with her and she'll stop driving to the hole. Last night, Kelsey Mitchell drove through the lane several times while her teammates stood around because nobody knows what the hell she's doing. Because Kelsey Mitchell has been empowered by her coach, Stephanie White. That's why this week she said, "Oh, I love my coach," because Stephanie White lets Kelsey Mitchell do what she wants to do on the court with no repercussions. Whereas a coach with some ilk and some skin in the game would yank Kelsey Mitchell's ass to the bench and tell her, "Look, run the team. Don't be the team." That's not what they needed last night. This was a close game for most of the game. Indiana lost this game because Indiana lost composure and they didn't play as a team. There are a bunch of individuals who wanted participation ribbons. After game one, before game one, well, after game one. After game one, I just saw this clip of Sophie Cunningham talking, and so I went back, and she actually said this before the playoffs. Let's take a listen to what Sophie Cunningham had to say.
A lot of our staff wanted to play the Aces instead of Atlanta, and I was like, hell no. Like, I was like, what are you guys talking about? I was like, even if they have one like off night, whatever, like they have won championships after championships, and you have the reigning MVP like 3 or 4 different times. Like, we don't want to, like, we want Atlanta. You know what I mean? I was like, we do not want Vegas.
Now, Sophie Cunningham said that, and you should never put that out in the atmosphere. Like I said, after Fallout, after the All-Star game, the podcast space is the worst place for an athlete in season. Shout out to the Stud Buds. Even though they lost last night, they understood, hey man, we can't keep doing these broadcasts and we stinking it up. We just lost. They shut it down. Keep in mind, Aaliyah Boston still doing hers with Candace Parker. And Sophie Cunningham still doing hers. You never want to say you don't want a team as a professional athlete. In the playoffs, you got to play the best to get the title. That's the loser's mentality. You've never heard Jordan, never heard Magic Johnson say, ooh, I hope the Celtics get beat. We don't want to play the Celtics in the championship game. Never. You never hear a champion not be able to take a challenge. Never. Champions take on challenges. The champ take on all contenders. Mike Tyson didn't run away from no fights. So if you're not ready to box, get out the fucking ring. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.